So we're back in the Model Y today with version 14.1.3 of FSD. 14.1.4 did roll out to some early testers. Again, it seems they are still going to get the releases sooner than the wider release. However, we did do the advanced software, and that's what got us the 14.1.3, I think. But a lot of people that have put it in there have not gotten it. And also, a lot of people that have gotten 14.1.3 have had lots of problems. They don't like how it's not very smooth and that sort of thing. So I will say that right off the bat, after driving it for a few days now with a bunch of different of our normal drives, 13.2.9 was definitely smoother in almost all driving scenarios. It did not handle some things that 14.1.3 does, but it did everything in the drive smoother, even if it was things that maybe I would have chosen not to do and that sort of thing, like just lane changes and that sort of thing. It was always doing them very smoothly, even if it was not something that I wanted it to do, and I would have to like disengage or intervene to get to move the different direction or different lane that I wanted it to be in. And also the speed. A lot of people have a problem with the fact that now you have speed profiles and you don't have any way to set the max speed. That is definitely a big downside to 14.1.3. And again, it is definitely not as smooth, and I mean that in every aspect. So just driving down the road, it will seem like it's, thinks something's going to jump out or whatever, or thinks there's a pothole, whatever it may be, and it'll break suddenly. So it's kind of like phantom braking used to be back in the day with the earlier version. So those things are cropping up, and it's jittery on stops. So definitely, if you are looking for a smooth version of FSD, don't turn on that advanced button and wait for 14.2 or whatever version it ends up being, where the consensus is that it is smooth all the time, like 13.2.9 was. It is nice that it has a couple new features, like it actually drives up our driveway when going home, and it actually drives down our driveway pretty consistently. However, that and parking in spots, there's not a whole lot of stuff that's an advantage for 14.1.3 versus 13.2.9. There's just those few edge cases, like when there's a fire truck or something, ambulance, it will get over. And it does seem to avoid some potholes and objects in the road, but that's kind of hit and miss too. So anyway, just wanted to preface that. Today we're going to take it out and we're going to see about going into a parking deck, because I wanted to see if it actually could make it into a parking deck now that it's supposed to be able to park where you want it to park. And I'm going to choose a parking garage and see what it does. On 13.2.9, it either, the first time we did it, we went and it drove all the way up to the top of the parking deck and then parked. That was fine. It did a poor parking job, but it did actually park in the garage. The second time I tried it, it just parked outside the parking garage. So we're going to see today. There should be no reason why it shouldn't be able to park in the parking deck, because it's not a paid parking deck, and there's no like arms or ticket booths or anything to get in. It does have 3 entrances and exits, and they're on 3 different levels. So that can be a little bit confusing, but I'm hoping that 14.1.3 actually can handle that. So let's check it out and see how it does on that, and see what happens along the way. All right, so we are now navigating to the parking deck. It is already in full self-driving. However, I did want to go ahead and speak to one of the differences of 13 versus 14. So 14, we'll go ahead and take it out of self-driving. So it does have a button, and at any moment in time, you can just press that button to start self-driving. So if I just press it, it goes into self-driving. I do have it on chill here in the neighborhood. That wasn't very smooth, but As soon as you tap it, it goes into self-driving. So it's just like the stock. And I think on newer 3s and Ys without the stock, I believe you press the right scroll wheel, if I'm not mistaken. Although I don't have that. So actually, I'm kind of curious as to whether it would have the same functionality. So I might try that out real quick. Let's see. Okay. We're good there. That Cybertruck's driving around with her tonneau covered, rolled up. All right, so here's one of the biggest problems I've got right now is it's saying that it's 30 mile per hour speed limit, and it's actually 45. And even after somebody blew past us, it didn't seem to recognize that, oh, maybe we're going the wrong speed for what this road is. So I don't know where it's getting that 30 mile per hour speed limit, because there's no 30 mile per hour speed limit anywhere in our vicinity. Now, once it saw that 45 mile per hour speed limit sign back there, I think there was one. If there wasn't, it's just once it crossed over that intersection, it picked up the correct speed of 45. So that's definitely one of the biggest challenges right now is, so that was that was a jittery lane change. So it did need to make over the lane change. That I wanted to go faster than that guy, but also we need to be in the left lane because we're going to be turning left. But it definitely went back and forth a couple times there on that lane change. So, but like I was saying, one of the biggest problems right now is the speed profiles don't give you a choice of setting a max speed. And also, if the speed limit is wrong, which was the case back there, even putting it in Mad Max mode still didn't make it want to drive 50. So it's definitely a problem. Now, I did press the accelerator back there just to get it up to speed. And when I did press the accelerator, it went from chill up into standard. So there's something about, like, if you do press the accelerator, it decides to change the profile. So there is some tie to the speed that you're going to do and the input you're doing for what speed you want to go, and the profiles, which is nice, but I wish we still had something that would do that for situations where the speed limit is much lower than what it thinks it is. So in the case of a school zone, for example, if it's not going to correctly slow down to that, we really need to be able to have that on the scroll wheel where, yeah, it can take the profile down, but also lower the speed even lower than the profile would normally go, because even Sloth would go the speed limit. Now, I haven't done it a whole lot on the interstate, but I have had pretty good luck with it on the interstate. We'll just keep it here in standard, try to just leave it that way and see how it does. Speed limit is 70, although I bet you anything it turns to 65 here in a second. Yes, so again, the speed limit is 70, but because the express lane in the middle, it picks up that speed limit sign, and so the car will actually drive in standard mode as if it is a 65 mile per hour speed limit. So if I were to go down to Sloth, it's going to peg it at 65 miles per hour. Standard usually goes about 5 miles per hour over the speed limit, which is actually a pretty comfortable speed. So 5 to 7 over the speed limit on 70 is comfortable. But again, it is 70 miles per hour speed limit. We got traffic in front of us, so that's fine. So let's see. Hopefully it's smooth now until the parking garage. So I haven't been able to get a whole lot of experience with merging cars on the interstate on version 14, but that was one of the problems we had with 13, and I hope it is corrected. This was actually where we need to exit, so no problem there, just getting over when we needed to. So pretty smooth, but definitely one of the things I'm looking for improvements on 14 versus 13 is merging traffic on the interstate. That's definitely something that was a problem on 13. All right. So I will say that 13 would actually stay in the right turn lane a little bit longer and then get over into the left lane. So that was actually smoother, I thought. A better way to get in there as quickly as possible. Here's a roundabout with 14. Roundabouts have been fine for a long time now. With 13, 14 should be good as well, I would think. Yep. It does put the turn signal on. That's another thing I've noticed about 14 is it does tend to put the turn signal on well in advance of when it's going to be turning. Sometimes even crossing multiple uh, other streets that it could be turning on. So that's actually kind of confusing and not great. I mean, it's good to have your turn signal on well in advance, but not if it's going to be confusing about where you're actually turning. It should be clear that you're turning your turn signal on to turn at the turn that you're going to make, not the two streets before that, because people can tend to get irritated. Okay, here's the parking garage. Could have turned right into there. It passed that up. Should be, yes, this is parking garage. Okay. So we're turning here. This is yet another entrance for the parking deck. This is what it did the time that we did it on 13, where it actually just parked out in front of the parking deck instead of actually going into the parking deck. So I don't know. We'll see what it does. Hopefully it doesn't stop at the stop sign like it did that time. Okay. All right, so it's still going. It's turning right into the parking deck. Okay, that's good. So we wanted to go into the parking deck, and it appears to be actually doing that. So good. Didn't do what 13 did and just park in the middle of the street. And thought about parking in this parking spot here, and it is. It looks like it is parking in this spot. It's definitely overshooting it. All right. I was expecting it to do it in one take, but it is a little bit tight in this parking garage, so maybe that's why it didn't. Okay. So it looks like we're going to park. Good. That's perfect. Got in the parking deck. It didn't go all the way up to the top like version 13 did, and it picked a good spot and it got in it. So now the question is, can it get out of the parking deck? So we will navigate over here. Let's see. There should be a little. Let's see. Let's see if we can just get it to park in. There probably won't be a spot open there, but let's have it navigate to that. Over there, it's got to go. This is very similar to what we did before with version 13. So it should be able to just go out of the parking deck exactly where it went in. But we'll see what it's going to do. And again, with version 14, I can just press the start self-driving. I wonder if you can do the scroll wheel, though. Nope. So that is for voice command. So yeah, I don't actually know what you have to press for it to, without the stock, what you would normally have to press in a 3 or a Y that doesn't have a stock. Do you press the scroll wheel? If somebody knows, please let me know whether it's just the right scroll wheel or what. But obviously, you can just press the button on the screen, and that's what I've been doing. I can also just use the scroll or use the stock to put it in self-driving as well. Okay, so it was a little weird getting out of the space there, and we are going up. We're supposed to be getting out of the parking deck, and we are going up. So already not looking good. We definitely could have just gone right out the other side, and that would have been fine. Here's an exit as well. If we took a right, oh, and it decided to go right, even though it still has a left turn signal on. I don't know why it has a left turn signal on. That is stupid. I'm going to turn the left turn signal off. It definitely needs to turn right. Now turn the right turn signal on. That's good. Oh, wow. So that's one of those very unsmooth spots. All right, so what it's going to do here is it's going to try to do a... No, we're going straight now? It's completely indecisive. We need to go to the right, but it already failed to get in the right turn lane. Like, I think it was going to try to do a U-turn according to the navigation, but it can't do a U-turn because it's way too tight there. So then it was going to turn left, but then it actually wanted to turn right. So it just keeps changing it. Wow, that's wild. It's completely ignoring the navigation. No, it's going to do it. I don't know what it's doing. It has changed its mind about the route about 5 times now. It doesn't know which way it wants to go out of the parking deck, doesn't know which way it's turning. It's done everything fine except for putting on turn signals that are not appropriate for which way it's going to go. But it's totally fine for us to go down to this other intersection and loop around. So I'll just let it do its thing. That was pretty wild. Now, it did, that SUV that was stopped on the side over there, it did actually kind of do a little brake jab for that. No reason to do that. It was perfectly safe, but just something that 13 would not have done, most likely. It was almost always super smooth, and that time with 14, things like that are just not smooth. And it was not smooth coming out of the onto the street. When it turned onto the street, it was hitting the brake and then going. So that smoothness is not there. I hope they bring that smoothness back pretty soon. I have heard that 14.1.4 has had reports of it being smoother, but I mean 14.1.3 was supposed to be smoother, and man, if it is, the first one that came out, 14.1.1, must have been really rough. So now we're definitely taking the long way around. This is not not the easiest way to go, but it's totally fine. They have these speed bumps here. These speed bumps are not too bad, actually. They're very smooth. I like how they made these speed bumps sort of, they are built into the road instead of just like tacked onto the road, it seems like. So they really just seem like a little, I don't know, like they paved over railroad tracks or something. So it's just like a little smooth bump in the road. Some tree roots there on... Ooh, what was that? Oh, I think I just got hit by an acorn. Man, that was loud. I don't know if that came out in the audio, but I think we just got hit by an acorn. So that wasn't quite as smooth. That speed bump wasn't, but see how this speed bump, like, you can see it, they have it marked, but honestly, if they didn't have it marked and it was like at night or something, you might not see it at all. So that'd be kind of scary. All right. So should be easy enough to turn left here. Got a decent number of cars coming from the left. Now from the right. This should be a gap here. Lots of hesitation. Lots of hesitation. We had plenty of time to go there. I don't know why it hesitated like that. We definitely could have made it. Instead, it started, stopped, and we missed that gap. So and now there's a bunch more cars. So I don't know when we're going to get a chance, but that was definitely an example of some extreme hesitation. All right, looks like this guy, nope, he's thinking about letting us go. This one. All right, that was really weird. Okay, they let us go. So that car just let us in. FSD was very hesitant. Again, it was like brake pumping. Like it was like go stop, go stop, go stop, go stop, like in quick succession. I don't know if that showed up with the line there, whether it showed that it was actually starting and stopping a lot, but that was very uncomfortable. Thankfully, it did actually go. I didn't actually end up hitting the accelerator because they were letting us in, and it would have been really rude to kind of like start going and then them just give up on us. But it did actually end up going, so I guess that worked out. All right, we'll see what it does here with these railroad tracks. Oh, no. Ugh. All right, I pressed the accelerator. For some reason, it like almost stopped right on the railroad tracks. So I pressed the accelerator. I don't know what it was going to do, but I did not want to confuse those people that were turning left there, that maybe I was like letting them go because we had already gone past where they really probably wouldn't have wanted to go. So that was kind of an awkward situation. Didn't need to hit the accelerator there. Probably. It definitely wasn't a safety thing, but I did. I didn't want to be inconvenient. All right, so we're in the intersection here. We need to clear it. I don't know if the car gauged that we were going to be able to clear it before the light turned or what, but there's a couple cars behind us, so. All right, so this was the right move here, I think. It's we need to stay over here. Honestly, we were in a crosswalk, so we're actually not in a great position, but we can't clear the intersection here. All right, now we can. Okay, good. Good. That was a good move. We should have stopped a little further back. And, my preference would be to stop before the crosswalk there. But, and there it was making a courtesy move there. Let's see. Now we're actually going to turn down this street. Okay. And okay. Yeah, this looks okay. Looks like we can get through here. Just being really cautious around these pedestrians, which is good. All right. Nice and smooth. I did that. There was no hesitation there, and everything was smooth. So sometimes 14 is smooth, and sometimes it is not. I don't know what the difference is. Now I put it on parking lot. I don't think there's going to be any parking, so let's see what it does. Is it going to look for a parking spot near our destination here, or is it just going to? Oh, there's a couple handicap spaces, so it might just end up pulling right into a handicap space, which we'll have to leave immediately if it does that. It looks like. Okay, hey, look at that. I actually found an open spot. How about that? I thought it was going to be another golf cart because there's a golf cart here. Okay, great. Well, that's perfect. It got right to our destination and parked. Good deal. All right, so it actually did a really good job of parking here on this last destination here. It did get in and out of the parking deck, although not in the best way it could have. As far as getting out, it definitely it could have gotten in the turn lane, and we could have avoided a lot of that extra side street to go around. But no safety issues. And the only problems I've had on this drive are that it is super shaky on certain things. So it hesitates on stop signs. It'll start, stop, start, stop. Definitely turning out of places, it does the same. It'll hesitate, start, stop, start, stop. And the speed, there was definitely a problem with the speed limit a couple times that I had to press the accelerator for that. And then the time that it was on top of the railroad tracks, and it looked like it was like maybe going to let that car drive past. But honestly, I'm not stopping on the railroad tracks in the middle of the intersection to let somebody go. That's too courteous if that's what it was intending to do, and definitely an awkward situation. So I did press the accelerator there, even though it wasn't really necessarily a safety issue. Just a preference. I don't want to stop in that situation. So anyway, that's it for this one. Definitely, the big takeaway for me is the trade-offs between 13 and 14 are you do have the ability now to go intervention free from point A to point B. You can get all the way from your house to your destination and never have to interact with the car. It is possible because it can actually choose where it's going to park, which is definitely helpful for completing a drive. However, the trade-off is it is not smooth. There's a lot of rough edges on 14, and the more I drive it, the more I see these situations where it's doing it. It's uncomfortable because it'll like start, stop, start, stop. I mean, it feels rough. So hopefully this is 14.1.3. Hopefully in 14.1.4 that is fixed to a lot big degree, and also hopefully it's completely gone and smooth like 13 once it gets to 14.2, which is what they're planning on doing the wide release for. So we'll just keep testing it, other scenarios, and see what we can do with other things on it. But that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.